Well, hello and welcome to the Brian HORNBACK podcast. I'm not sure what episode this is, but we'll number it when we get done. I've taken about the last, about a week and a half off. I've not been on the Brian HORNBACK Experience for about a week and a half. Everything's good. Just life's been a little busy. Work, politics, all those good kind of things going on has just kind of gotten in the way, to be honest with you. But I've got several candidates that are still wanting to come on and do the Brian HORNBACK Experience, so we're going to get that done. Early vote starts this week, the 18th. Need to look at that would be, today is the, it would help if you look at the month of April. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. No. A week from Monday, the 18th, begins early vote. So we still got another week. I got a week to get it all in. We'll get her done. So what's going on? Let's see, folks. We had a candidate expo. Tim Graham and the folks out at the Knoxville Expo Center out there at the corner of Clinton Highway and Merchants Road sponsored a candidate expo. Had quite a few candidates there. Some weren't able to be there because at the same night, it was like from 4 to 8, which was a good long time. Candidates love 4-hour events, let me tell you. They really don't. That was sarcasm. But at the same night, the Bar Association, you know, that the bar, not the bar where you drink, but the bar that all the lawyers belong to, they had a little event for lawyers to come, I guess members of the bar to come and talk to and meet with the judges and the judicial candidates. So some of the judge candidates were about an hour and a half to 2 hours late because they had to go talk to the bar first or meet with the bar first. And so, but anyway, that was a relatively good event. No sparks or screaming or yelling like we had at the Concord Farragut Club back in March. So everybody behaved, and the sheriff candidates were right across the way from one another. I mean, literally right across the way, literally about an 8-foot pathway between the two booths. But anyway, everybody got along great there. And then there's been a couple of Republican Club meetings since then. Hall's Republican Club met, and they had some candidates out there. That was the spring break weekend. That was back in March. The volunteer Republican women, they had the school board candidates at their club. The Center City Club, which I'm the president of, we hosted the county commission candidates. 3 of the 9 Republicans showed up and had a good time with both the candidates from the 3rd District, Nick Sapero and Gina Oster, and then Kim Frazier, who's running for the at-large seat 11. She attended. I'd gotten a text from her opponent, Devin Driscoll, saying that he had a meeting he was already at was going a little bit longer than expected. Steve Weiner had previously committed to speak to HOA out in Norwood. The Rhonda Lee had a pretty significant trial going on, so she was held up. So we had a good crowd. Had a lot of other candidates that showed up. This coming month, excuse me, will be a good month for you to come because I won't be there. David Williams will be running the meeting on April the 28th, and we've invited the Republican school board candidates to be there. Got 4, I believe it's 4 or 5 school board seats up. We have the 4th District, Virginia Babbs, she's not running. We have one Republican in there named Will Edwards. And then in the 6th District, Betsy Henderson is the only Republican. She's running for re-election. She was elected, as you will recall, a couple of years ago when Terry Hill moved from school board to commission. And then over in the 7th district, we have Patty Bounds is not running for re-election. And so you have Sherry Garrett and Steve Triplett who are running in that race. And then in District 9, you have Christy, the school board chair, and she's up against Phil King. Now, in the 1st district of the school board, it's up to Evity Satterfield, the vice chair of the school board, is not running, but we don't have a Republican for some reason. We don't have a Republican running in the 1st school board district, and so not going to happen. So there'll be no candidates coming to the Center City Republican Club meeting because we don't have a Republican running. There are 2 Democrats running, John Butler and Charles Frazier, and then you have 2 independents. So whoever wins the Democrat primary on May the 3rd between John Butler and Charles Frazier, that person will then face off against 2 independents, Breonna Holloway and Reginald Jackson. Jackson and Holloway both, excuse me, allergies are killing me. By the way, this weekend has felt like winter, but man, the pollen and everything that's out in the air feels like it's pollen spring. I was trying to come up with a better descriptor, but didn't come up with one. So that's what's going on in the school board. County Commission, again, there's 4 races up on commission. You have District 3, which Randy Smith's not run again, and so you've got Sapiro and Oster, which I said both of those came to the Center City Club meeting. And then over in the 7th district, I mentioned that one. Charles Bustler's term limited; he can't run again. So that's where you've got Alan Merritt, former just retired from the sheriff's department, Rhonda Lee, and Chuck Severance. That race, could be interesting. Anytime you get more than 2 people in a race, it can be interesting because you don't know where the votes are going to fall. It's a little easier to kind of know where votes are going to fall. It's a little easier to predict, I should say, how votes are going to fall in a 2-way race versus a 3-way race, because you don't know where a third one takes votes from. So that'll be an interesting race. They all 3 appeared at the Knox Area Association of Realtors, hosted an event last week in conjunction with the League of Women Voters. And all 3 of those showed up at that particular forum. And so we got to hear a little bit from them. And hopefully, I'll go back and look. I put up a blog post about it. And so in the blog post, I have a YouTube that has the opening statement of all 9 people that showed up at the Knox Area Association of Realtors. So Hanson Sell did a better job of getting more candidates to his forum than I got to the Center City Club, but that's okay. That was a good event. Then I went out to the Carnes Republican Club, where Gina Oster and Steve Weiner, who had been out knocking on doors and had committed to speak to the Carnes Republican Club, were there. And so that was no real surprises there. And so then Thursday night, we had the Concord Ferret Club had their annual cake or dessert auction. Lots of money was raised. Interestingly enough, there were a lot of desserts that were donated, a lot of cakes and things that were donated. I brought what I typically bring, which is a dozen Moonshine Mountain cookies. Now, I'll go ahead and say it here on the Brian HORNBACK Experience. Those of you that go to Moonshine Mountain Cookies, and by the way, they're not a sponsor on this on this Brian HORNBACK Experience. They're welcome to. I've not reached out to them, but they're welcome to. But they have 2 locations now. They have the original location, was down at across from the Gallery Shopping Center down near Westtown. across from Chili's, just east of Westtown. That's the original location. Then they have another location on out Kingston Pike, just west of the Pulaski Parkway, in the where FedEx, I call it Kinko's because it was Kinko's for years, but Kinko's has been off has been off that business for years now, so it's FedEx office. But anyway, Moonshine Mountain Cookies is right next door. So I took a dozen cookies. I took 6 Sugar Shine cookies, which to me is my favorite. And then I took 6 of the Rocky Top chocolate chip. Now, they got multiple flavors and varieties. They got a Happy Pappy that's made with apple pie moonshine. Now, granted, folks, you can feed your kid these cookies because the moonshine, the alcohol is cooked out of the cookies, okay? So don't worry about that. Anyway, I took a dozen. I believe it was Nate Ogle and his wife bought them. I think they took upwards of, I think they went for close to $50, I think. But there were several cakes. Judd Davis's wife, Nikki, brought 2 cakes that her mother had made, and both of those sold for $100 or more. A red velvet magpie cake was sold, and it went for almost, I think, $125 or $130. I don't remember. A lot of money was raised for the club. That's one of the, I think that may be the only fundraiser the Concord Fair Republican Club does. But interestingly enough, a lot of office holders had donated cakes, but a lot of office holders weren't necessarily there. Just going off the top of my head, Judge Stansberry was there, Judge Cerny was there, Nick McBride was there. I really want to say that's about it. I may be forgetting somebody. There's several candidates there. Dino Cole was there, who's running for chancellor. Several former Republican Party chairmen were there. Myself, Larry Smith, Randy Pace, Buddy Burkhart, the former chairman, was in fact the auctioneer. And Daniel Herrera, the current chairman, was there. But, interestingly enough, when we have these dessert or cake auctions or silent auctions, the office holders come a lot, and they bring money, and they bring goods. Now, they brought goods. There were several goods donated by office holders, but there was other events going on. I know that J.J. Jones and Tom Spangler were at an FOP event. I know that Justin Biggs was out at Dry Hollow, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. I'm the Dry Hollow community out off of Chapman Highway near the Sevier County, Blount County line. And then he also wound up at the FOP meeting. I know Gina Oster was at the FOP meeting. So there were several things going on Thursday night that didn't allow everybody to get to Concord Farragut. And the problem is, it's not a problem. It's just time management. But what happened was we meet at 6:30, or we began the meeting at Concord Farragut at 6:30. And then we got to be out there by 8 because Grace, who owns the Fruition Cafe, they're on Weston Avenue behind McDonald's in Farragut. She closes at 8 o'clock. And I mean, she's been there all day. She's been serving, she got there sometime after breakfast, and she's been cooking and serving lunch and dinner all day. And so, I mean, she's got to get home. So, I mean, we're not going to make somebody stay longer just for the club. Although the Democrats would tell you that's what Republicans do. We don't do that. So we were out of there by 7:45. We were out of there in time for Grace to close up so she could begin again the next day. So anyway, yeah, so that's where we're at. Actually, I told y'all wrong. I think early vote starts on April 13th instead of the 18th. So I'll look that up while we're here on the Brian HORNBACK Experience. Can't believe I would get that wrong. Yep, April 13th. So it does start Wednesday. I'm recording this on Sunday, April 10th. So it does. Early vote does start on the 13th. Good Friday is Friday the 15th, which is this coming Friday. Easter is the 17th, and it's a holiday in Canada. So anyway, so early vote starts this Wednesday, the 13th. Get this right. And runs through the 28th. So it starts on Wednesday the 13th and runs through Thursday the 28th, with Election Day being on May the 3rd. That's a Tuesday. You can vote at early vote locations in and around Knoxville. You vote at any early vote location the 13th through the 28th. However, on Election Day, you must vote at your polling location. Those locations will be open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. They are, like Chick-fil-A, closed on Sunday. You can vote in the small assembly room of the City County building. That's right off the Main Street entrance of the City County building. You can vote at Eternal Life Harvest Center in 5 Points. That's at 2410 Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue. You can vote at one of the most popular early vote locations. You can vote at Downtown West. That's at 1645 Downtown West Boulevard, Unit 40. You can vote at New Harvest Park. That's another popular early voting location, and that's at 4775 New Harvest Lane. Out in South Knoxville, you can vote at Meridian Baptist Church at 6513 Chapman Highway. You can vote at the Knoxville Expo Center, located at 5441 Clinton Highway, near the Merchants Drive interchange. Another popular early voting location is at the Farragut Town Hall, located at 11408 Municipal Center Drive. Up in the East Knox County community, you can vote at Carter Senior Center, located at 9036 Asheville Highway. Out in Halls, you can vote at the Halls Recreation Center, located at 6933 Recreation Lane. And last but certainly not least, out in Carnes, and probably those of you in Hardin Valley can vote at the Carnes Senior Center, located at 8042 Oak Ridge Highway. So those are your early vote locations. They start on Wednesday, April the 13th, and they run through April the 28th. So be sure and get out and cast your ballots. So let's talk about, while we've got a few minutes here, let's talk about what is on the ballot. So on the Republican ballot, Judge Melson in Division I Circuit Court is unopposed. Bill Ayler in Division II Circuit Court is unopposed. Deborah Stevens in Circuit Court Division III is unopposed. Our family court judge, Greg McMillan in Circuit Court Division IV is unopposed. John Weaver in Chancery Part 1 is unopposed. Now, in Chancery Part 2, District 6 is where you have a choice. You have a choice between Bud Armstrong, you have a choice between Dino Cole, and you have a choice between Chancellor Clarence E. Eddie Pridemore Jr. Chancellor Part 3 is unopposed, Christopher Haggerty. Criminal Court Judge Division 1, Stephen Sword is unopposed. Criminal Court Judge Division 2, Kyle Hickson is unopposed. Criminal Court Judge Division 3, Scott Green is unopposed. District Attorney General Sharm Allen is unopposed. Now, we're on the Republican ballot. I'll get to the Democrat ballot in just a minute. Eric Lutton, our public defender, is unopposed. County Mayor Glenn Jacobs is unopposed. Now, County Commission District 3, you have a choice between Nick Sapparo and Gina Oster. County Commission District 7, you have a choice between, I've been saying Alan Merritt came first. Apparently, I missed the alphabet, LMNO. Rhonda Lee is first, Alan Merritt is second, and Chuck Severance is third. County Commission at Large, Seat 10, Larson J. and Steve Weiner. County Commission at Large, Seat 11, Devin Driscoll and Kim Frazier. Then you have the County Trustee, Justin Biggs or Richard Jacobs. Then General Sessions Division 1, Chuck Cerny is unopposed. That's Cerny, like the Old English knight and a knee. Sir Knee. I've heard that joke more than once by Judge Cerny. Division Sessions Judge Division 2, you have a choice between Judd Davis and Sharon Frankenberg. General Sessions Judge Division 3, Patricia Long is unopposed. General Sessions Judge Division 4, Andrew Jackson the 6th is unopposed. General Sessions Judge Division 5, Tony W. Stansberry, is unopposed. Juvenile Court Judge Timothy Irwin is unopposed. Then you have the Sheriff, Jimmy J.J. Jones and Tom Spangler. Then Circuit, Civil Sessions, and Juvenile Court Clerk Charlie Susano is unopposed. Criminal Court Clerk Mike Hammond is unopposed. County Clerk Sherry Witt is unopposed. And Register of Deeds Nick McBride is unopposed. Then for the Board of Education District 1, you can write somebody in because we don't have a candidate in District 1. In District 4, Will Edwards is unopposed. In District 6, Betsy Henderson is unopposed. In District 7, Sherry Garrett and Steve Triplett are your choices. And in District 9, Phil King and Christy are your choices. Now, let's go to the Democrat ballot. The first one that you have a choice on is the Democrat candidate for District Attorney General, Jackson Fenner, is unopposed. County Mayor, Bob Fisher, Tyler Gibbons, and Debbie Helsley. You have to pick one of those three for County Mayor. Then in County Commission District 3, Stuart Hole is unopposed. He'll face the winner of Sapporo and Oster. Then in County Commission at-large Seat 10, Dylan Early is unopposed. He'll face the winner of either Larson J. or Steve Weiner. In County Commission at-large Seat 11 is Vivian Underwood Shipe. She'll face the winner of either Devin Driscoll or Kim Frazier. Then County Trustee Dave Cazalet is unopposed, and he'll face the winner of either Justin Biggs or Richard Jacobs. General Sessions Judge Division 1 is Sarah Keith, and she will face Judge Chuck Cerny. Circuit Court Civil Sessions and Juvenile Court Clerk Dana Moran is unopposed, and she'll face Charles Susano. Scott Crammond is unopposed as a Democrat for Register of Deeds, and he'll face Nick McBride. Again, in Board of Education District 1, John Butler and Charles Frazier are your two choices. Board of Education District 4, Catherine Bike is unopposed, and she'll face Will Edwards. District 6, no Democrat qualified. There is an independent that will face Betsy Henderson. District 7, no Democrat qualified. Either Sherry Garrett or Steve Triplett will face Dominique Oakley, who is an independent. And in District 9, Annabelle Henley will face the winner of Phil King or Christy. Let me go back and say that in the race for county mayor on the Democrat ballot, Bob Fisher, Tyler Gibbons, Debbie Helsley, I forgot to say that the winner of that contest, one of those three, will then go on to face Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs. Well, that is your Republican and your Democrat ballots for May 3rd. Early vote starts April 13th, runs through the 28th. I gave you all the locations. I'll get those posted on brianhornback.com before the 13th. And we'll try to get some of these folks on in the next couple of days on the Brian HORNBACK Experience. And obviously, we're going to have to go into early vote to get some of them on. But I know that Mike Hammond is willing to be on. I know that Sarah Keith is willing to be on. I know that Vivian Underwood Shipe is willing to be on. And so we will. And I talked to Alan Merritt because I've already had Rhonda Lee and Chuck Severance on. I've talked to him. So I will reach out and get some of those booked for the next couple of days. So we will be back. I appreciate you being patient with me. I appreciate you listening to the Brian HORNBACK Experience. Appreciate you visiting brianhornback.com. I'm on Instagram, brianhornback.com. I'm on Twitter as mega_bullhorn. Also on Twitter as Brian HORNBACK. Facebook, search for me, brianhornback.com. Spell it out, DOTCOM, brianhornback.com. Everything that I post on the website gets shared on the brianhornback.com Facebook page. I share it off my personal Facebook page. I put it on Twitter, put it on the mega_bullhorn Twitter. and I do my best. So anyway, we're at 25 minutes in. This was a good night just to kind of fill you in on where we're at where we're at with regards to the election coming up and where we're at in all that regard. So school board will be meeting on the 18th with the plaintiffs in the mask lawsuit. They're currently the mask mandate's currently been suspended until they can negotiate a settlement, and they're going to do that on the 18th. Don't think that I'm going to be there. It is somewhat open to the public. You're not allowed to have any cell phones. You're not allowed to have any recording devices, and the meeting will not be streamed. So that's the rules. It's a federal court mediation, and so all that will be strictly enforced. Anyway, hope you've had a great time here on the Brian HORNBACK Experience, and we will talk to you again real soon.